Well, we made it to episode 11. This is the Mindset Mentor podcast. Listen, we have a name. Sometimes you don't start off as you want. It's the No Edit podcast, 10 minutes maximum. Who's it for? This is an interesting thing after the last one. I kind of sussed out a little bit of who it's for. I will explain it like this. So I sent my last episode to someone special, someone I know well. I said, what do you think? And it was the first thing that I had to overcome. Because they said to me, it's a little bit like, it's less of a podcast. And it's more of like sort of therapy for you to take part in. And I got that at night and I thought, is it? And I started like really, first reaction to it was, well, that doesn't sound too good and people don't want to hear that. And later on, the next day when I woke up, I thought to myself, you know what? If this is like therapy for me, which essentially it's not, but I suppose it is because I'm outlining the things that happen in my life so you can hear them to think about your own. Exactly the same I do with my coaching, which can be found at mindsetmentor.co.uk. But in that, my first thought was oh no, this is a bad thing for it. And then in retrospect, my perspective, which is the gift that I've always got that keeps on giving, that I try to give to everyone, made me think, well, if it is therapy for you, then that's ideal because you don't have to go for it because you listen to someone else's journey and the things that they go through. And I think one of the things I've always had is honesty about my own journey. And some people are often shocked with that, especially with coaching. If I want honesty from the client I'm working with, I'm totally honest. I bear all because I want them to bear all. Because if you bear all and give it all, and there's nothing else to give that you're hiding away from, and then we can deal with it. Then you're not hiding from yourself, and you're not running away from yourself, you're getting it done. So episode 11 is here to maybe make you think about that. So we don't give dates or times, but today happens to be the day after the greatest day because England got into the European football final last night. It was amazing. Don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the journey of Gareth Southgate in the journey of the group stages. England haven't played amazing, but now they're in the World Cup final, and he's been heavily criticised. And when he was being heavily criticised at the beginning, we hadn't lost a game. We hadn't been out of the tournament. We didn't lose our chances, but Gareth Southgate was he was ridiculed. He was told he was rubbish. He didn't know what he was doing. And all that time, what I thought to myself is, I stand behind someone who's willing to stand behind the decisions when everyone else is going against him. He's making decisions that they don't agree with, standing behind him because he just wants to win a tournament, and now he's in the final. And I found it interesting, everyone who was on, it was actually on my LinkedIn feed, everyone who's on there criticising what he's like, he's this kind of manager, he's that kind of manager. He stood tall and he stuck to his principles and he kept it going, and he's actually made some good decisions. And I have to be honest, I called it at the time, we'd done a semi-final in the World Cup, a semi-final in a football tournament. People still criticised him, and I thought, what do you want? Sometimes people are not happy enough, and I just found that really interesting that happens with you. And I'm not going to say I'm a Gareth Southgate, but I've been, why I'm in the tie today, till the end of term, I've gone back and done some teaching, and it's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed it. It's probably the best school I've ever worked at, and I've loved it. And I had a bad lesson last week, and I actually, funny enough, had a bad lesson this week. And it comes down to this ancient thing. I've said it before. You probably find this a lot. I will say things like, again, I'm only a basic person who follows basic principles, but they work. But it's the whether you do or whether you don't. So I had that the other day. I left this lesson frustrated and feeling not like a failure, but not feeling good about what had happened. And I thought to myself, it's interesting. Whenever something happens to me, I refuse to have 2 bad days. I hadn't really had a bad day, but I had a thought day where I'd thought about things quite a lot. So the next day when I got in my cold shower, I do use, and I do recommend this, I keep up the cold shower, keep up the consistency. For it be a shock to my body, it's good for my health, my body and my soul, but also it's about, for me, readapting to my principles or a mantra or something that I'm going to be. And I said in that shower, I said, today's going to be an amazing day. No outside stimulus, because that's the other thing that bothered me about the lesson. Well, it wasn't what they happened. They will always be a certain way, and I'll have difficulty and I'll have pressures. But it's up to me how I react. And on that instance, I reacted not like me. So as soon as I showed a reaction of maybe frustration, that frustration applied to me and everything that I was doing. Whereas I don't normally apply that frustration, and in a way that I was projecting frustration, feeling frustration, living frustration. That's not how I roll. So I left that thing, and as soon as I decided that wasn't going to happen, it didn't happen. Because whether you do or whether you don't, you already decided. And you know, I tell this honest thing because that's been 2 now. I'm actually going in today with a new principle of discipline. I'm going to try and overcome what's happened. I had a bit of a class that were a bit lively yesterday, and I'm going to do something about it because people need to have boundaries, and I didn't give them enough. And I think with my kindness and how I am, sometimes they get missed. So I'm in there to do something about it. And that led me to my next point. So worrying, for me, worrying is just your body telling yourself you need to make action. I'm going to give you 2 examples. I woke up Sunday morning and life's great at the minute. It's so good. I'm in a really happy relationship. Life feels good after being single for a long time. It feels really great at the minute. Woke up early and I was thinking about this massive thing I've got in my life, and I started to think about it. And instead of being lying in bed, feeling great in the moment and enjoying everything there, I was thinking about this thing. And what I've come to realise now is how I get like that, that'll only get worse. So what I need to do is take action. So I immediately went home and did what I'll recommend to any of you. Watched a YouTube video on this subject to find out information that I didn't know. And in that video, I found out the information I needed, how long this thing would take, and what action I needed to take. As soon as I found the action I needed to take, I didn't worry about it. Because I only worry when I don't need action. And it reminded me of this. I've got this thing here. So I don't own the house I live in, but I love it. I got it when I first divorced, and I've been in it since, and I felt no need to own it. And I love the house. The landlord's coming this weekend. He's already texted me saying, I'll come and look at the house, do like an annual check. And he's going to put the rent up, which I don't love. But anyway, I'd started thinking, oh God, so many things to do when he's coming. Thought I need to get it all sorted. This week, I was like, I'd been thinking about it a lot, more thought about it. So I walked around the house and I had this little like checklist of the house. And I thought, I better write all the jobs down. When as I walked around the house, what I realised off the jobs list, I haven't got a lot to do. But I'd created in my mind that I did. So as soon as I took action, I realised I didn't need much action. I was going to sort it in time. But you don't think that half the time what you're worrying about is just things you don't take action. A lot of people I work with, I ask 3 questions. I ask about physical vitality, mental vitality. I can go into them more. But the 3rd question I always ask, if someone's in a relationship, I say, what number out of 10 is your relationship? And if someone tells me 5, I know that everything can come from that. If you have a happy relationship, everything else will start being happy. You might be exercising, you might be doing lots of things for a peaceful mind, but if you're not keeping that bit happy, you won't be happy. So I work on all them parts of it. Lost my train of thought then. So I hope you took a note of some of the things that I said. Like I said, we're coming towards the end of this one. But yeah, this is episode 11. It's going to be the Mindset Mentors podcast, a podcast for people who want to learn some honesty from someone else who's just like you, who's learned some good practical techniques and how to apply to life to be more content and happier and more successful. But my honesty, I hope, is your honesty to yourself, that the obvious things that happen to me happen to you, whether you accept them or not. And if we always come up with the idea of that we want to be a better person today than we were yesterday, then that'll always happen, because your intentions are what make you up. Your intentions, and definitely, like I've done today, with showing up. I'm showing up and doing the things that you need to do in life. Like I've had my cold shower, I've been out for my run. I've coming into today not worried about yesterday, but more thinking, how can I make it better? That's what I want you to think. If you ever want to get hold of me, it's www.mindsetmentor.co.uk. You can message me through that. If not, thanks so much for listening. You have a great day.